You jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she-gall. You jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she-gall. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it off.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute. You're watching Independent Thinking. Why? Because you needed to get away from that dysfunctional family Christmas you're having, and I'm glad you did. I thought we'd take this as an opportunity to take a look at not Christmas per se, but also how we are here in Colorado as far as the free market, the things that we at the Independence Institute fight for. We've been around now for 25 years. Are we going in the right direction, the wrong direction? Let's see where it takes us. Welcome to Christmas dinner. Start off with Jessica Corry, who runs our Property Rights Project at the Independence Institute. Thank you for leaving your family on Christmas and coming down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Penn Pfiffner, who runs our Fiscal Policy Center and is probably one of the most accurate guys on taxes and fiscal policy in the state. And I want to get some predictions from you. And from our Education Policy Center, Pam Benigno, who has made it her mission to help people get their kids the education they deserve. Well, Merry Christmas, all of you. Let's start over here. As we're looking at 2010, what do you think the big policy area, not political, I'm not talking about gossip between who's going to win an election, who's going to lose an election, well, Republicans will win or lose, but when it comes to particularly Coloradans and public policy, what are they going to be facing?
Well, it's an exciting time and it's also a scary time. I think we'll see a lot of litigation concerning property rights. RTD certainly with its westward light rail expansion and eastward light rail expansion is going to face tremendous grassroots opposition to any sort of eminent domain abuse. And I think local governments and the state government is prepared for this. The tide is turning and people at all levels of government are tired of the government telling them how to live their lives. So it's an exciting time, but 2010 will be a very challenging year.
I always get the sense that this year is supposed to be, you know, the 1994 again. That Democrats have gone too far this way, we're pushing for too much, we've got a bad economy, and there's going to be this incredible pushback, and 2010 is going to be it. I know a lot of Republicans are thinking this is going to be it. I'm more worried about fiscal issues. I'm more worried about what's going to happen to my 401k. I'm more worried about what's going to happen to the price of my groceries. I know this is something that, Penn, you've been working on quite a bit. Give me just a quick minute on this.
I think we're going to have people feeling better, in large part because of the way the monetary system has been handled, the way we're spending. We're actually living beyond our means. But while you're doing that, it feels good. You've got money for stuff. So people are lulled into a sense of having a better economy, even though the total production, the total economy hasn't gone up. So maybe the better story would be, this is a cute little kid skipping down the road, but there's somebody with an ugly chainsaw off in the tree is going to get him soon, which is a lovely Christmas image, isn't it?
When you're talking about we're living beyond our means, how so? I mean, are you talking only on the federal level or also on the state and local level here in Colorado?
As far as government goes, we're living beyond our means in both federal and state. The federal is really going to drive the discussion. It's really going to have the bigger effect. I mean, after all, we've gone from about $500 billion deficit in federal spending to 3 times that, right? It's below 1.5 trillion, but still we're looking at over $1 trillion in deficits, spending more than we have year after year. And we used to say, well, we owe it to ourselves, no big deal. But who's buying that debt? Well, it's foreign countries. So we're seeing the effects of too much money in the economy. Ben Bernanke at the Federal Reserve has just way overdone it. He has doubled the monetary base in the last 18 months. And so
I remember a little bit from college
when
economics.
Countries do this, they end up with either roaring inflation or they have to pull all that money back in and they end up with a recession again. Neither are very good results, and they speak to having a real difficult time after 2010. But in 2010, it's going to feel okay.
So I want to get back to that, but I want to bring Pam to the conversation as well. Just introduce what, on education, you have made it your life's work to bring more educational choice to Colorado, both within the public school system and without the public school system, more choice on all levels. Taking a look forward, what do you see here in Colorado for kids and families who want more choice? Is this going to be a better year, or is the tight economy going to make it a harder year?
Well, I think the tight economy is certainly going to make it more difficult. The governor's planning a 2% cut for just this year, where schools will have to actually give back money. Next year, looking at a 6% cut. However, choice continues to move in Colorado, and I'm referring to public school choice. The Innovative Schools Act, the growth of online schools. We have somewhere between 14 to 15,000 kids this year in full-time online programs, and that's going to continue to grow. It's exploding exponentially across the country.
Is it fair to say these people are homeschooled? Is that what an online school is? Is that a type of homeschooling?
Well, it's not under the homeschool law. Most of the students are actually in an online program that's home-based, but there are also students that are in site-based programs as well. So I think we'll see both. We'll see hybrids, more hybrids coming soon, programs that will meet children's individual needs, their learning styles. That's really where the movement's going. But as far as spending, that's going to hurt everybody, or let's say revenue. As much as we want to see schools keep expenses down, the fact is when you're looking at a 6% cut, it doesn't matter if you're a charter school or a neighborhood school, it's going to be tough.
I thought Amendment 23, which I fought against and almost won, but we missed it, was going to take care of this issue, that no matter what happened to the economy, that the growth of school funding for the first decade would grow by inflation plus 1% and then inflation after that. So how is it that Governor Ritter is going to cut spending in schools? I thought that was unconstitutional.
Well, there's a debate about that, so you will hear a lot about that in the next year, and exactly if that's going to just affect the base or the other factors that are involved in the School Finance Act. So this will be controversial. The Democrats will be having a battle.
Why do I have a feeling that the unions for education are not going to be big fans of the governor if he wants to cut into Amendment 23?
No, I'm sure they won't be. Who knows? They may even file a lawsuit.
All right. Let's just open this up. Since we're talking about 23, let's talk about spending in Colorado first and what's going on in Colorado. Let me bring it back to Penn here. Now that we've got budget cuts coming in Colorado, tell me if I'm wrong on this. The beautiful thing about state government is it can't print money. It can't go into debt. It must have a balanced budget. But the feds can borrow money. They can print money. They can do whatever they want.
And I think spending is going to be, we're going to have to realize that spending is really at the crux of the problem. Not how much we tax, as much as the fact that we are spending more than we produce. We're talking about the federal government growing by about 6%. You say, what's the big deal? 6% of everything we make? Well, that's about half of an average family's food budget. That's about all of your entertainment budget. Are you willing to give that up to put more money into the federal government? And that's just to make things right as they are. If you add another 14% to the federal government as it takes over health care, then you've got an even bigger problem, and we don't have time to go into that tonight. But certainly just the budgetary problems are going to swing things at the federal level and affect us here. Pam mentioned how much there's going to have to be cuts. We don't have a lot of revenues, new revenues coming into the state budget, and so there are going to have to be adjustments. The state wants another 3% of everything we make. That's half of your entertainment budget. Are you willing to do that to afford what the state needs? Or does the state need to really get back to questions we haven't asked for a long time, which is, what are the proper roles of state government here in Colorado? And I think we've expanded that over the years to the point where it's unsustainable.
Well, state government seems to, and governments on all level, we used to have these things called core functions of government. When you go back and you dust off the original charter of a city or the original constitution here in Colorado, you find that we never really said anything about sustainable energy. We didn't find anything there about economic growth. We didn't find anything about environmental protection. We didn't find anything about health care. There was a lot about education, in that we're guaranteed an equal and free education.